Hello, Max here, and I'm going to not talk about Overwatch for a moment. I know, these are crazy times we're living in. I want to talk about Cynical Nerds. It has only really been a YouTube channel for a little over a year. I'm in World of Warcraft to show you its true beginnings. It started life on the 20th of June 2006 as the dream of a single nerd. That nerd was a mage called Marcus. That dream was to destroy 40-man raid bosses and loot fat epics. Sadly, never legendaries, the Cynical curse carried through right up until the end of Burning Crusade. We would never loot a single legendary. In order to lead a ragtag bunch of 40 hardcore gamers, well, let's be honest, 25 to 30 hardcore gamers, in a 40-man raid, 5 are always AFK and at least 5 are probably not good enough to be there and so dead most of the time. So to lead 25 to 30 hardcore gamers through 40-man raid content, our glorious leader would need the support of officers and class leaders. I had leveled with Marcus. We'd been friends in game for almost a year, but we'd never raided together, and I was already in a successful raiding guild, and one of the top PvP guilds on the server. But Mark made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I was playing Priest at the time, so a natural choice for Warlock class leader. I'm not making this up. In order for it to somehow make sense, I would be the guild's Shadow Priest. For those of you who didn't play Vanilla WoW, this was pretty unusual. Back then, Blizzard didn't try to balance the game across every spec for every class. Priests, druids, shaman and paladins all healed. That's it. Everyone else did damage apart from warriors. Warriors were the only class that could tank, but they could also deal good damage. Shadow Priest had some utility and could deal good damage when geared to do so, but most guilds wouldn't run one. Being offered a spot in a guild as a raiding Shadow Priest was quite an honour. Of course, if the guild failed miserably, I'd be a raiding Shadow Priest in a guild that couldn't complete the first tier of content. Fortunately, we didn't. In fact, with the players we recruited, we skipped the first tier and raided together until the beginning of Cataclysm in December 2010. Although the guild was no longer raiding, the community carried on. We've played any and all games together since, and still do. We are a group of mostly mature gamers in our late 20s or early 30s that are more into the social side of online gaming than trying to be the absolute best in the world. But we do like to try hard and get competitive sometimes. If you're looking for a gaming community to find chilled out friendly people to group up with for any game, you should come check us out. If there is interest, we will organise tournaments and custom game events in games like Overwatch or League of Legends or anything that people want to play. Since the Warlords of Draenor expansion, there has been a Cynical Mythic Raiding Guild again, and they are still accepting applications for members for Legion raiding. It is now a Horde guild, boo, that is on Ragnaros EU, although the original guild is still alive on the Alliance side should anybody want a purely social / dungeon running guild. I will try to have 110 level characters on both factions, but with Overwatch consuming most of my time, it may take a little while for me to get there. We are EU based, but everyone is welcome to join, and as long as there is enough players to warrant it, we will happily organise custom games in other regions too. There will be a link to the community Discord in the description, and we have forums on the website cynicalnerds.com. We are now also streaming 4 nights a week. Martin and I will be streaming mostly Overwatch 3 nights a week, and we record our podcast, The Unstable Portal, live on Mondays at 8:30 PM British Summer Time. I will sometimes stream randomly throughout the week, so be sure to follow us on twitch.tv/cynicalnerds and Twitter @totallyfutile and @DustusWins for notifications of when we go live. I hope to include the community when streaming, as it would be great fun to be able to stream games and tournaments organised within Cynical Nerds. Martin and I would love to try and stumble our way through shoutcasting some games. I'm sure it will be incredibly unprofessional, but I guarantee it will be a stupid amount of fun. Lastly, in this video, I'd like to talk about our Patreon campaign. I'm currently working on YouTube content full time. This is something I spent most of last year deciding to do, and in February of this year, I quit my job and moved to a cheaper part of the country. I have been living off savings while Martin and I tried to build a successful YouTube channel. We've seen some great success from the Overwatch content, and I'm thrilled with how the year has gone so far. I still have a lot to learn about what I'm doing, but I feel like I'm improving all the time. The feedback I've had from you guys in the comments has been amazing, and what's even more astounding is how few negative comments there are. I do my best to read through everything that is posted, and you guys really make me feel like this is something I can do well. Unfortunately, the post-Overwatch hype has died down and views are generally a lot lower. This means ad revenue is considerably lower, not to mention adblock. I don't have a problem with anyone who uses adblock. I would use it myself if I wasn't a content creator. But I am a content creator and I feel it would be a little hypocritical to do so. If you do want to support the channel, even as little as $1 a month is worth more than the revenue you as an individual will generate in a month from watching adverts. My commitment to you is to pump out 3 to 4 videos a week, not including the weekly podcast. The much longer term goal is to bring Martin in full time. You might think he just does the occasional overly critical and puts his Carl Pilkington face on the podcast once a week, and you'd be right, he's a lazy bastard. No, that's not even close to the truth. Despite having a full-time job and 3 very young children, Martin manages to be heavily invested in the future of Cynical Nerds. He is usually a walking zombie, but still works with me to come up with new content ideas and then manages to be energetic and funny when we record or stream, which between both recording and streaming is almost every night. As soon as there is enough income to support his family with just enough left over to pay my bills, I will gladly give the majority of the revenue over to him. As I'm confident with us both on this thing full time, we will be able to do so much more and grow the channel into something we can both live comfortably off. Just imagine an even more energetic Martin talking over me and constantly pointing out every little thing I do wrong. Wait, maybe this isn't such a good idea after all. The Patreon campaign can be found on patreon.com/cynicalnerds, and there is of course a link in the description. Coming up on the channel over the next few days, we have another Overly Critical going up. This time it is me playing an often controversial hero. Then we'll be kicking the new week off with a Blue Watch, and later next week I think it could be time for a new map guide. And it has been suggested to me that a revamped D.Va guide is in order after all her changes. No ETA on D.Va just yet because I need a good few hours on her before I can make a guide. Until next time, take it easy, and I'll see you soon.